Did you know that we need between 10 and 13 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables every day? I have the pleasure of having Valerie Slade on here with us today to kind of fill in the gaps and let us know why we are needing these things in our life. Valerie, I want to welcome you. And if you would take a minute to tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm excited to be here, so thank you. This is definitely my passion. I am a certified health coach. I'm a wellness educator. I have a team of people. We go out into the community and we educate anywhere we are able to. We will go into churches, we will go into schools, we'll go into community centers. Our goal and mission is to let people understand, help them understand the importance of a good, solid nutritional program in their lives, because we know the majority of diseases can be avoided with a good lifestyle and good nutrition.
Valerie and I got to be friends when I discovered something called Juice Plus. I want to go back to what we were saying in the beginning about how we need 10 to 13 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables every day, and how this can be a great way to not take the place of, but to bridge the gap. Because when I sit down with clients, a lot of times when I explain this, then they get overwhelmed. And so we don't want to be overwhelmed. We just want to make sure that we're doing it. So talk to us a little bit about why that's so important and what we can do about it.
When I do my health lectures, I almost always start with two facts. One is that early man ate up to 6 pounds of vegetation a day. We were hunters and gatherers, mostly gatherers. Yes, we had an occasional wild beast and wild fish, that sort of thing, but we really existed on plants. And there were plants that were a variety of plants, all the colors of the rainbow. We couldn't go to our local grocery store and just get a couple. So we had to eat them every day, day in and day out, all the different colors of the rainbow. And we now know that different colors of the rainbow do different things in the body. Current day proof of this are the blue zones. And I'm so excited there's now a Netflix documentary on this. I have been talking about the blue zones for the last 10 years as I do my health lectures. And most people just sort of glaze over and don't know what I'm talking about. But if you still don't know what I'm talking about, A, watch the documentary. Yes. But B, those are the 5 places in the world where people tend to live to 100. There's almost no cardiovascular disease, almost no dementia, almost no diabetes. I mean, the list goes on and on. And these people, they're the common denominator of these folks. They're in different parts of the world: Okinawa, Japan, Sicily, Italy, Ikaria, Greece, all over. The common denominator is they eat 95% plants. So their diet is 95% plant-based diet. And those plants are so essential for avoiding illness and disease. And so I just want to get the word out, and so my entire team of, we have to eat more plants. When they do research in this country, the average American eats 1.5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Yeah. And do you know that the USDA counts the tomatoes in the ketchup, and they count the potatoes in the French fries? I do these lectures and ask, I don't tell them to raise any hands, but they are nowhere near, when they come up and talk to me, they are nowhere near that. And certainly even more concerning, their children aren't. And so this is when their immune systems are developing, their brains are developing, all the things. And so it puts them on a trajectory that's just not so good. And so we need more plants in our diet.
Yes, because what if there's only one nutrient missing from your diet, you will suffer in some way, just one nutrient. And so that's how we make sure that we cover them all.
Absolutely. And then that leads directly, thank you, into Juice Plus and the product. So would you like for me to discuss that a little bit now?
Please, yes.
I learned about this because my son had just been diagnosed with celiac disease. And it's one of those diseases, had we eaten differently, it's an autoimmune disease. Had we eaten differently and he had a stronger immune system, that gene may have never turned on. We know from the study of epigenetics, you can have a gene in your body and it never turn on if you are eating the right way and you have the right lifestyle. So when I learned about this, it was too late. The gene had turned on. He was already diagnosed. But it is a disease of almost malnutrition because you don't absorb nutrients. And again, he was this as a child, he's 11 years old, brain development, immune system, all the things. And he was sick all the time, had lost a lot of weight. That's a whole story in and of itself. But I knew he was malnourished. And a friend of mine who knew about Juice Plus mentioned it to me. And it made so much sense because at that point, it took him a year to be diagnosed. Now we know about it. This was 20 years ago. We didn't know about it, maybe 15 years ago, but very few doctors even knew about it. And they told me, you've got to renourish his body. He is so depleted. His blood work looked like a third world child. And so we knew that fruits and vegetables were essential for him to get into his system. But it's hard to do. He was doing athletics. He was doing, we have busy lifestyles. And so someone mentioned Juice Plus to me and said, it's just 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries. Actually, back then it was just 20. We just said the fruit and the vegetable. And she said, that way, if he doesn't get everything in his diet every day, then at least you have Juice Plus and it fills the gap. So you may wonder, well, what is Juice Plus if you're listening to this? Well, Juice Plus, I want you to think of the spices in your spice drawer and how they've taken plants, let's say basil or thyme or cinnamon, and they've ground them down into a powder. So they've taken the whole plant and they've ground it down into a powder. Well, that's what Juice Plus is. They've taken apples and oranges, strawberries, blueberries. They've taken kale, spinach, broccoli, etc. 20 different, about 10 per fruit, vegetable, and then we have the berry. So they've taken all these different plants and they make sure you get all the different colors of the rainbow, because as you mentioned, every single different color is important. You don't want to miss even one nutrient. So it's very scientifically put together and they're ground down, and it's the entire plant. So for example, did you know there's more vitamin C in an orange peel than in the orange itself? But I don't think very many people eat the peel. So the beautiful thing about Juice Plus is it's like a huge blender, and they throw all these fruits and vegetables into the blender and ground them up, including the seeds that are usually nutrient dense and the peel and the stems. Everything's thrown in there. And so you get the nutrition from all the different parts of the plant. And then we take them in the form of either capsules or gummies, either one. That's the background of Juice Plus. And I would love to tell you why I was so convinced that's what I needed for my family. I am the daughter of a doctor, and we grew up being told we don't need vitamins. You just get you don't just get all your nutrients through food. And so that was my belief system. And actually, I still believe that. Now, I'll tell you why, because this is whole food. We have these have a nutrition label. I know that's hard to see, but we have a nutrition label on there, not a supplement label on our products. And that is because it is made of food. So what we're getting is all these different vitamins and minerals in the form of whole food. But even one step further, there's research behind it. So I believe as of today, we are constantly doing new research. We're up to 45 published medical research studies. And these are in research journals such as the Journal of American College of Cardiology, the Journal of Pediatrics, and dermatological journals, in periodontal journals. I mean, the list goes on, 45, and we are adding more all the time. So with the research behind it, when I could see the research and I knew what it would do in the body, and then we experienced it with my family, I was completely convinced. And so what we go out in the community and teach is, this is a product to fill the gap. We want you to eat 10 to 15, even more servings of fruits and vegetables a day, because as I mentioned, early man ate up to 6 pounds of vegetation a day. We want to encourage people. We actually do meal prep workshops. We do all sorts of classes to teach people how to eat these plants, but it's so hard to get every single different color in every single day. And so that's where Juice Plus comes in. If I have a busy day, if I haven't eaten all the colors of the rainbow, which is pretty much impossible, I know that I have my nutritional insurance policy, and that is Juice Plus.
So some people will say, they've asked, how in the world are they going to get all of that packed into this little capsule? And I've explained that if I took all the water out of your body and we did the same extraction, I could get your body into a little tiny thing. So same with the fruits and vegetables. When they take that water out, boom, all packaged in that little tiny. And from what I have heard, read, studied, the way that they care for these crops when they're growing them, the way that they process them, that you are getting top-notch care in that product. And so tell us a little bit about that.
That goes back to, if I were to put Basil on my pizza, for example, it's big basil leaves, right? But then you go to your spice jar and you only need a little teaspoon, right? Because it's been ground down, the water has been extracted, exactly like you said. And by the way, if in all of our fruit, when the water is extracted, the sugar dissipates. So it's fantastic for diabetics. So there's nothing negative in there, and yet it's into a small little capsule. And so that's how that happens. Number one. Number two, I know it's so hard to believe. Even my father, who's a doctor, when I was telling him about this product, because of the medical research, he kept saying, I see it, but it's too hard for me to believe. Well, that's the beauty of the medical research, number one. And number two, we've also done bioavailability studies. So because we know the soil is depleted, you could do a similar bioavailability study on a handful of spinach. But what has happened over the years is because of the depletion of the soil and the need to transport this produce all along across the country and sometimes from different parts of the world, they've lost a lot of that nutritional density that it had right as it was picked. We've heard of the term vine ripened. The best time to pick produce is right at the peak of ripeness, and that's when most of the nutrition is there. But if I go to my Whole Foods, for example, here in Greenville, South Carolina, and buy an apple, it's more than likely grown on the far west coast, maybe Oregon or somewhere over there. They had to pick it early because if they pick it at the peak of ripeness, by the time it gets to me in South Carolina, it's mushy and not good anymore. So that's the beauty of what we do. Within the end of the day, within 6 to 12 hours max, we've taken the produce that was picked at the peak of ripeness and they've put them into this major blender that I talked about. They have then dried the water out. They freeze dry it so that the nutrients are locked in there. You often hear that frozen foods are as powerful and nutrient dense as fresh food. If it's been grown the correct way, yes. And with our farmers, we have farmers that we dictate how they grow. And it's a win-win. You may say, because I did hear one farmer saying, gosh, they won't even let me wear my own boots onto the farm because they're so strict. Yes, but then he went on to say, but I know I can sell my crop every year. 100% of my crop is sold to the Juice Plus company, and I can be guaranteed that I have my income every year. So it's a win-win. We are very strict, but we are also strict. We need organic growing practices. We are very, very strict about the way it's grown, but we want that soil to be nutrient dense as well. And then we process it into the capsules, into the powdered form, not quite to the capsule, that's encapsulated somewhere else, but we do the freeze drying within the 6 to 12 hours so that we lock in all those nutrients. Where I can't even say that if I buy organic produce somewhere else. We like to say it's actually better than organic.
Well, I love it. And that's why I have it in my life. And because of the science behind it and the testimonials, and there is so much of that, I became a distributor. So if this is something that you're interested in, I'm going to put my link below and you can reach out to me and let me know. I'm here to help. And Valerie, I want to thank you so much for having this conversation.
Kimberly, can I add one more thing?
Yes.
If anyone listening on here is a parent, a grandparent, or an aunt or uncle, or someone who has a child in their life, our mission to inspire healthy living is so strong. We will provide the product free for a child all the way through the age till they're about to turn 26. We believe in it that much. We know that the health trajectory of a child can be so positively impacted by Juice Plus, and the Journal of Pediatrics proved that for us, that we want to give it free for all those years. So just make sure if anyone on here has a child in their lives, we want to have them covered as well.
Absolutely. And we're going to do another video that we're going to dive in a little bit deeper into that as well. So stay tuned for that. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And if you don't mind, like and subscribe for more great information. And you guys have a great day.